tell you what.
Yeah.
You know all these storms we've had lately? They've played havoc with my plums. Must be all the wind. You don't want it on your plums, do
Okay,
you?
that's enough of that. That's enough.
Sorry.
You want gags? Here's one.
Okay.
You know that Fraulein Bunt?
Yeah.
You know her favourite drink?
No.
Director bitter.
Director bitte.
Director's bitter.
Hello and welcome to episode 6
Ooh.
of Review to a Kill. My name's James and I'm a big James Bond fan.
My name's Tom and I'm watching these movies for the first time.
New to all this.
I'm new.
He's green and...
Yeah, I'm learning.
He's learning.
More and more each time.
He's like a piece of clay we can sculpt and mould to our own... Never mind, I'll move on. Every week on this podcast, well, I say week, every episode, the sort of YouTube program, every episode of the YouTube program, is that right? Yeah. We look at a different James Bond film, me from the point of view of having seen it a million times before, and Tom watching it for the very first time. Yeah. And we compare our scores and compare our impressions of the movie and see what we agree on and what we don't. Yeah. Now, as we always say in every episode, there will be...
Spoilers!
So, if you haven't seen this movie, please pause us now, go and watch the movie, and then come back and watch us, because we would hate to be the ones to spoil anything in the story.
Yes.
Like you do for me
regularly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, before we go any farther, we do want to say that we always want to hear your feedback, so please do leave us a comment under the line on this here YouTube video. Is that the correct terminology? YouTube show?
YouTube show,
YouTube thing?
video.
Yeah, so please you leave a little comment underneath. Or you can contact us on that there Twitter, which is...
At Review Kill Show.
At Review Kill Show. And you will find us. And indeed, I would like to introduce, with your permission, a new feature to the show.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to call Feedback Corner. If you could maybe do a little jingle for that next time.
I didn't get prepared.
Not now, next time. Feedback Corner. Yeah, something like that. So, this is some of the lovely feedback that we've had from people about our previous ramblings.
Yeah.
In the first 5 episodes. So first of all, at Wiltshire Writing 4523.
That's my sister.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hello, Tom's sister.
Joe. All right, Joe.
I thought we had an actual genuine fan, but we don't. It's just
Family.
Tom's sister. Fine. Well, it's a great observation because she said one of Connery's kicks on the roof was like poor calf having a fight. As in You Only Live Twice, which it is. Great observation. Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe, for that. These are all people you know, aren't they? These are all your friends and family. At Miss March 88.
Nope.
No, not responsible for that one either.
Proper fan.
First episode, now I have to go back and watch the others. This was so much fun. Thank you.
That's nice, isn't it?
I laughed all the way through it. Also, your crafty Bond board is a thing of beauty. May it never change.
Well, it has, because the lights broke and I had to fix them.
Really?
But we'll come to that. Don't worry about it. It's all okay.
We fear change, all right? We can't handle too much change.
It'll only change for the better.
Oh, good. As if that could be improved. Come on. Anyway, thank you very much, Miss March 88. Extremely kind of you. Lovely to hear from you. At Oxford James, do you remember we were trying to pronounce the name of the Czech actor who was binned after 2 days as Blofeld in the last episode? And we couldn't figure it out. At Oxford James has kindly said it is Jan Kurreich. Or Reich. I think is the correct pronunciation guide.
Thank you, Oxford James.
Thank you. He says, great podcast. I mean YouTube video, as always. Thank you.
He knows.
He knows. He's in with the in-joke. See, he must be watching them. Thank you, sir. At CalReader7376. Nope.
Not sure.
Fun review. Just found your channel. But a Bond fan who doesn't like Little Nelly?
That's to you, not me.
I know. Sorry. Yeah. It's nice the Bond fan tent can accommodate a lot of different opinions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
CalReader7376. And finally, Queenie Colombo 4857. This is a friend of yours, isn't
That's
it?
our Queenie, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Queenie.
Hello, Queenie. It's official. She says, it's official. I am an awful person. The controversial bits you discuss always make me giggle or roar with laughter. Love the way the show is evolving. That's nice, isn't it? I didn't know we were evolving.
We were evolving from being complete amateurs to
just not quite so complete amateurs. Semi-amateurs.
Yeah.
So I didn't know we were evolving. I didn't know that was a thing. So thank you very much, Queenie. And I'd like to say that is the loveliest feedback. So I hereby designate Queenie to be the Review to a Kill official nice person.
Wow.
That's your title.
These phrases are going to catch on, aren't they? We've got Feedback Corner, official nice person. Oh, these are brilliant.
All podcasts, YouTube shows need an official nice person.
Good.
So
I like
Queenie,
it.
that is you. Thank you for your feedback, and please keep them coming. Either on the line below, I keep doing that because it's sort of there, isn't it, when you watch it, or on @ReviewKillShow on that there Twitter /X. Tonight we are talking about the 6th official James Bond movie, which is
on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Secret Service, you know, dear boy. Or to introduce a little Chateau Neuf to the proceedings. On Tom's French chart, it is Au Service Secret de Sa Majesté.
Whoa. I like it.
I could almost have figured that one out myself.
Yeah.
Secret Service Majesté. I'll fill in the gaps. Anyway, Au Service Secret de Sa Majesté. If you're of that particular persuasion. Right, I'm going to give you, as I always do, some basic information about the film, and then we will head to the Bond board for the ultimate arbiter of all things on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Sound like a plan?
Bloody good one.
Right, that's what we've done for the first 5 episodes, so why change it now? Yeah. Right, here we go. Some basic information about this movie. This is the 6th official James Bond movie, based on the 11th book, the 10th novel. All right, one book is a collection of short stories.
Yes.
And remember, all the movies are in a different order to the books. I know we always say that, but just in case anyone new is watching for the first time. And this, of course, was the movie in which George Lazenby played Bond. The only movie in which Lazenby played Bond. His casting was unexpected, to put it mildly. He had been a male model, and he had been in a Fry's chocolate cream advert. But that was the limit of his acting experience. Okay. So when he got this huge job replacing Connery, it was a real shock. Lazenby was offered a 7-film deal to play Bond, which he refused.
Yeah, but they let him do one. See, this I am fine. I've not looked any of this up to have you tell me the first time what's gone on here.
Well, no, because I think he got some bad advice. I think he got told, we'll come to the sort of wider context of this movie later on, but I think he got some bad advice and was basically told Bond had its day. And so he decided, no, I don't like it. I don't want to be typecast as James Bond. I'm an actor now, I'm a big star, and I'm walking away after one movie. And of course, it sort of didn't quite work out like that. Here are some of the people he beat to the part. Okay. Right? Bear in mind, this guy had never acted before. Okay? Michael Gambon was interviewed about the part. Michael Billington, who was connected with the part several times at various points over the years, never quite got it. Adam West, Batman.
That would have been
great.
Worth a look, I reckon, wouldn't it?
Patrick Moore, who these days is most famous for Emmerdale, but back then he was
Patrick Moore.
Not Patrick Moore, not, Mars or Jupiter. Patrick Moore. Okay. He is these days most famous for Emmerdale, but back then he was a sort of action hero doing TV and that sort of thing. Ian Richardson, who went on to play Francis Urquhart in House of Cards, the original BBC House of Cards, and a chap called Roger Moore. But Roger was busy with The Saint. So he was committed elsewhere. The producers also considered a young Timothy Dalton.
Right.
This is nearly 20 years before he actually got the part. He had only been in his mid-20s at the time. So therefore he was considered too young. Although today I did Google I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. But I did Google Timothy Dalton Young, and I've got to say, I mean, you know, I'm straight and I would. He's just impossibly handsome. You know, you can see why they
definitely even in 1980 as Prince Baron in Flash Gordon. He was.
I knew you'd mention Flash Gordon. As soon as I said Timothy Dalton, I thought I've got to have some beer to get through this. I knew as soon as I mentioned Timothy Dalton.
What are we going to do when we get to the Dalton movie?
I know. It's just going to be 2 hours of Flash Gordon.
10.
I might. You might have to do those two on your own, right? Right. All of which means that unfortunately we do not need Wig Watch this time.
I know.
Which is a great shame, but don't worry.
I started doing jingles for that, but it's coming back, isn't it?
Wig Watch will be back with a bang next episode.
A new jingle,
because
the first one was rubbish.
It's a special wig as well. It's a particularly good wig. It's a strong wig, the next one.
Good.
So anyway, because Lazenby was obviously a completely inexperienced actor, they surrounded him with very established names. So the cast here is quite impressive. Diana Rigg, latterly Dame Diana Rigg, as the Countess Teresa de Vincenzo, who of course was known as Tracy. Diana Rigg was this very established theatre actress. She'd been at the RSC in Stratford for years, and she'd also done 3 years in The Avengers opposite Patrick Macnee, who also went on to be in a Bond film later on, which you won't have seen yet. Telly Savalas as Blofeld this time. They didn't invite Donald Pleasance back because they wanted Blofeld to be a bit more physical and sort of move around a little bit more. Savalas, of course, was a big star. He'd been in The Dirty Dozen, he'd been in Cape Fear, The Birdman of Alcatraz, and so on and so on. So, they surrounded Lazenby with very experienced performers. Gabriele Ferzetti as Marc-Ange Draco, which is an interesting plot twist because that's Bond basically teaming up with the Mafia.
Yeah.
Which is, a bit strange. Although a precursor to a group that he teams up with in one of the Dalton films, which we'll discuss when the time comes. And Ilse Steppat, a very experienced German actress, as Irma Bunt, the subject of your wonderful comedy. She was intended to come back in the next movie, but unfortunately Ilse Steppat died just after this film was released, so Irma Bunt did not come back. We had the return of Bond regulars Bernard Lee as M, Desmond Llewellyn as Q, and Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny. Also in this movie, amongst the 12 Angels of Death, I'm not sure if you spotted a young Joanna Lumley in her first acting role. 22 years old at the time. And doing her first role. And also Catherine Schell, who went on to be in Return of the Pink Panther with Peter Sellers in the mid-70s, which is a really, really good comedy. A few other people I should point out who I think are interesting in this movie. So Grunther, the sort of main henchman, was a Russian wrestler called Yuri Boryenko. During his audition for the role of Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby was told, you have to fight this guy to sort of see what you're like in a fight scene. He broke Yuri Boryenko's nose, and that's when he got the part. Harry Saltzman stepped in and said, right, we're going to cast you. So they gave Boryenko the role of Grunther basically as compensation. Look, we're really sorry we broke your nose. Please, would you like to be in our movie? Another interesting character is the man who played Sir Hilary Bray, George Baker. He also provides the voice of Bond while he's pretending to be Sir Hilary Bray. They just dubbed over George Baker's real voice. He was actually once suggested as a potential Bond by Ian Fleming. And he also went on to be in a subsequent Bond film as well. He's Captain Benson in The Spy Who Loved Me. So we'll see him again a bit later on. Now, here is something I think is really interesting. There's a tiny character in the Baccarat scene when Bond rescues Tracy and she can't pay her debt. An older lady in her early 70s in a pink dress who's sitting next to Bond at the table. That is Bessie Love, who was a huge star in the silent movie era and even has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's great.
So and not much seems to be known about her part in that, but that's who it was, a little walk-on part for her. The director of this movie was Peter Hunt. This was his directorial debut. He'd been a film editor, a second unit director on previous films in the Bond series, and he'd also worked on other Eon productions. He'd done The Ipcress File with Michael Caine. He'd done Call Me Buana. That movie comes up again.
The one from the poster.
From the poster in From Russia With Love. And he took a very conscious decision that after the sort of madness and gadgets and space age and all the rest of it of You Only Live Twice, he was going to bring Bond back down to earth, few gadgets, and have a very sort of more realistic film that followed the novel very closely, which obviously the last one didn't. The producers were extremely impressed with Hunt's direction. They asked him to direct several later Bond films, but he always declined. He also had the chance later on to direct Never Say Never Again, which was the unofficial Bond film in the early 80s, but he always turned it down out of loyalty to Broccoli and Saltzman. Okay. So there we are. This was also the legendary John Glenn's first Bond movie. He did the second unit direction for this. And John Glenn went on to direct every Bond movie of the 1980s. So this was his first contact with the Bond family. The movie was shot in Switzerland, England and Portugal between October 1968 and June 1969. They overran by 2 months. Most of this, of course, is Piz Gloria in Switzerland on the top of the mountain, which looks amazing. We'll talk about that a bit later on. That, by the way, is all still there. It's a revolving restaurant. You can visit it. There is a Bond museum there today. If anyone would like to pay for me to go, I am open to offers. The building wasn't finished at the time when they were filming there, so they finished it with money from the studio, and they also added a helipad so they could get all the stuff up there. Do you remember last time we talked about John Jordan, the aerial photographer who accidentally had his foot cut off? When he was at his with his metal foot, he was doing his stuff again in this movie. There's lots of footage of him flying around on a harness under a helicopter to get the aerial shots for the ski chase. And apparently the locals from the town used to come and sort of watch this guy like hanging, and like get very low over the sort of have his feet. Well, I suppose it mattered if it's a metal foot, but dangling over the, hitting the snow as he was sort of filming the chase to get all those amazing shots. They also had to actually build the bobsleigh run because there wasn't one. Right. So that added a huge amount of cost and time to the production. There was a guy they used called Robert Zimmerman, not Bob Dylan. When I first read it, what's he doing there?
I got some ideas for your film.
On the bobsleigh. He actually crashed during that sequence and injured his face, and they kept it in the movie, which seems a bit harsh. But there we are. The cable car sequence was delayed because Lazenby's stunt double dislocated his arm. The avalanche they had to do was initially triggered accidentally, so they had to do it all again. And they had to fill in with a bit of stock footage. So, this ran all the way till June 69. They were 2 months over schedule, and it was a pretty long and arduous shoot.
I see.
There are some very famous scenes in this movie. There is, of course, another spoiler coming up. If you haven't turned off by now, you've had plenty of opportunities. So we're just going with spoilers now. Tracy's death, of course, is extremely famous movie. The scenes at Piz Gloria, located atop the Schilthorn, looking down over Mürren. Really, really famous and very sort of archetypal Bond stuff. Now, controversies. Remember last time this section took about a fortnight for us to get through all the controversies of You Only Live Twice? Nothing quite as bad as that in this. There are a couple of scenes that aren't brilliant by modern standards. Draco punching Tracy.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And it's not a slap, is it? It's a proper punch. I mean, it's really... With the first time you watch it, it's kind of, like, whoa, you know. But here's the thing. I dug out today the original theatrical trailer.
Right.
It's in that. So you talk about how much times have changed. Yeah. There's literally this guy punching Dan Everett in the face as hard as he can in the trailer. But anyway.
Dad, no less.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, I know, I'm all for parental discipline, but, Lazenby himself was sort of quite controversial. There were rumours throughout of trouble on set, getting into arguments with Peter Hunt and Diana Rigg and all that. Although some of it seems to have been overplayed, but, there was a lot of controversy around Lazenby. And in fairness, he's probably slightly unfortunate because this story itself is really an outlier amongst the Bond movies. Whoever, even if it was Connery, whoever was making it, he gets married. I mean, properly, not like the silly wedding and You Only Live Twice. Properly gets married. And obviously he has this very sad ending, which most of them don't have. So he was probably dealt a slightly unfortunate hand there, Lazenby, in that regard, to be fair. However, the reception at the time was initially a bit lukewarm, but this is the one movie which I think retrospectively has got more and more and more acclaim over the years. Today, Rotten Tomato has an 81% ranking, so very, very high. Mark Kermode, the film critic, this is his favourite Bond film. Loves this one. And although Lazenby did get some criticism for his performance, he was actually nominated for a Golden Globe and lost out to Jon Voight. This movie, against a budget of $7 million, took $82 million at the box office, which usually would be a roaring success and a runaway success, but of course compared to
Thunderball,
I think 140 million for Thunderball, something like that, it felt like a bit of a disappointment, and it was less than the previous 3 movies, and apparently went some way to why they did not retain Lazenby. This was released in time for Christmas 1969, hence the sort of Christmassy theme of the movie. It was all to tie in with that. Lazenby by that point had informed the producers that On Her Majesty's Secret Service was going to be the only film he did as Bond, and he wasn't interested in doing another one. And he felt that, as I say, he felt that Bond had had its day. And he turned up to the premiere with a very 1969 Easy Rider-ish beard and long hair, which of course was his way of underlining, I'm not doing this anymore, and did not impress Broccoli and Saltzman one little bit. So any sort of chance he had of doing another Bond film was basically gone at that point. So that is my quick capsule history. I raced through that as quick as I could because there was quite a lot to go through this time. So
good, fascinating stuff.
Thank you. Shall we go to the Bond board?
I think we bloody well should.
We will, after this cutaway. Tom, will you please activate the Bond board?
Oh, Bond board, shine your light all around. Let's not have us look like a couple of clowns. Amen.
Whoa.
And do you notice what's going on here?
Different colours and flashing, twinkling.
Silence. Stays. See, it reacts with sound. Right, let's not.
Hello. Can we just spend the rest of the night doing this? We're not bothering with the rest of the episode. I'm just going to do this. Okay.
Is that going to be too distracting?
Okay. Hello. My God, that's amazing. What will they think of next? I mean, putting a man on the moon was one thing, but this, it's just extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
Seriously, how does that work?
I don't know. It's magic, mate. I keep telling you. Bloody hell.
Without the prayer, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's wonderful. It's a thing of beauty. Again, I'm standing here beside myself, amazed by your artistic endeavour. I can only thank you. I'm grateful to be a part of it. You know,
You should be.
Well, you know. Right, these are the 12 items across the top here, which you won't be able to read from back there. We can't read them from here. But these are the 12 items that we believe are the essential ingredients for a great Bond film. We are scoring.
Yeah.
Me from the point of view of someone who's seen it a million times before. Tom seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
We are going to compare our scores, see how they differ, and then come up with an overall total for this movie.
Yeah.
And there is a pop-tastic rundown of our previous movies. A period your screen right now, mate.
Yeah. So,
should we go over them quickly, Tom?
Last place was at the moment is Dr. No with 143 points. I should have looked at this earlier.
Yeah,
You Only Live Twice. 165. From Russia with Love. 184. And Thunderball 186. So in first place is Goldfinger with 191. Are you going to go douche?
Right, so did you like the dish? Okay, I'll keep doing that. So what we'll do next time is we'll have that ready in advance so Tom doesn't have to do maths. Which is the least there? Oh, it must be that one. Okay, so anyway, look, that's the chart as it stands at the moment.
Yeah.
So with a maximum score of 240, 120 each from me and Tom. The leader at the moment is Goldfinger on 191. That is the target to beat. So please keep that figure in mind.
Yeah.
As we go through the 12 key elements of a successful Bond movie, the first of which is the pre-title sequence, the opening sequence.
Yes.
What have you got, Greg Babe?
Well, it's all right. I mean, you start.
It's all right.
It's all right. That's the end of the show. You get a little hello to M&Q and Moneypenny right at the very beginning, sort of letting you know it's the people you know.
Yeah. It's this.
Don't worry.
Bond is different, but these people are the same. Don't panic.
And then they do a little bit of Bond driving with his face concealed, and
I do like the sort of cigarette thing. It sort of
like
harkens
that,
back to Connery.
Okay.
A little bit.
I just think they do when they've been recast. I don't know. I just think maybe not draw attention to it rather than saying this never happened to the other fella.
That's interesting because I like that.
You like it?
Yeah,
see, I winced when it. I'd
Really?
say I've watched this a few times, right, in the month since the last episode because I. And I've had like
it's my fault.
No, that's all right. We normally take about a month. So anyway, I've had a kind of accelerated thing in the acclaim. In the first one, I was just because my experience of Bond so far has been the Connery stuff and doing this show where we're like, really looking at what Connery's done. So then all of a sudden I have it as Lazenby.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. I know more stuff. Well, I don't know the films entirely. I've grown up in that era, so that's not going to be too much of a kind of shocker for me. But I was like, don't let it get to you. Give it.
I think it's a good point you make, and I think that was reflected in the box office. I think it was a shock for people because Connery was Bond. Suddenly you've got this guy who is unknown, but also he's doing a movie, which the movie is also different. It's not like he's doing a sort of Thunderball type movie where he's sort of flying all over the world and killing baddies and doing all these things, and do you know what I mean? It's a different feel to this movie, so it probably was a sort of double shock to people.
And I liked it more. The more I watched it, and
I'll put my cards on the table. I think this is a fantastic movie, but I could never, like Mark Kermode, have it at number one.
Okay.
Just because I think Lazenby is good, but not great.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you put Connery in that role, and you've got, or Daniel Craig maybe later on, and you've got something sort of really, really special. I think all the ingredients are there. I think the leading man is okay. Yeah. And I think that's a bit of a problem.
Okay.
To be honest, sorry to be a bit harsh on him. He hadn't acted much, so it's not his fault, is it?
Yeah.
But, I quite like the introduction. I quite like this never happened to the other fella because I think it's a bit of an in joke and a bit of a gag. Look, it's going to be okay, but I get that it jars with a lot of people. When I was a kid, this was the one where everyone used to go, if it was ever on TV, well, there was this Bond film on, but it wasn't James Bond. It was this other guy, and he got married, and he's what was that about? So anyway, that's my view for what it's worth. One thing I would say about this opening title sequence, when Lazenby is fighting, no wonder he broke that bloke's nose.
Oh yeah, he did.
I mean, they are proper haymakers. They're starting from down here somewhere, and they're coming right the way through. He's massive, and in the sea, he's sort of taken half the sea with him as he punches the guy. So I mean, he certainly put his back into it. To be fair.
Yeah, and that's sort of it's kind of an okay fight sequence as well.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing compared to what we've had so far.
We were a bit spoilt with some of the pre-title sequences, haven't we?
Yes.
So what are you going for?
I'm only saying 5.
5?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is low. I've gone 7 for the opening title sequence. Tom will be red. I will be blue. No.
Other way round.
Other way round. I will be red. Tom will be blue. As if it could be the other way round. Such a thing would be ridiculous. I will score as we go through.
There you go.
Okay.
Well done.
So that's my job in all this. Maths, kids.
Yeah.
Right. Next item is theme song. Now.
Yes.
Here's the sort of big thing that you get your vinyl out.
I got this from the 007 official store.
Did you?
So
Must have cost you.
That's $6,000.
Oh,
yeah,
cheap. It's half the price for 007. It's quite reasonable, really, by the price of most things on the 007 store. Those pair of pants.
I'm building that Lotus for 60 million quid, whatever it is.
The 007 store pricing is just ridiculous.
So, yeah, this is the one I wanted to ask because this is the only one on the album with all the themes on. We've got 2 themes for this movie.
Yeah,
we have On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
So we have On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is an instrumental. Very nice, very nice. Almost like he's a musician, isn't it?
Oops. Almost.
Da, da, da. Oh, Tom Scriven music on SoundCloud. He's good, this man.
All right.
Nice. Oh. So that is the official theme tune, but of course the song everyone remembers from this is
Yes,
We Have All the Time in the World, which you're not going to be able to do on there, by Louis Armstrong. So, I mean, which one are we counting as the sort of official theme, or are we scoring both? How are we doing this? How have you done it?
Well,
I've actually got the same score for both, helpfully. So it doesn't matter.
So have I.
Oh, have you? Oh, there we are then.
Because what I've done is I said, well, I'm going to say I think we should recognise We Have All the Time in the World as a theme, because we did that with From Russia with Love,
Indeed.
even though it's not the title theme, and it is From Russia with Love, it is recognised as a theme. And also, I didn't realise that it's because that song has its own life in its own right. I didn't realise it. I was like, oh, did they write it specifically for the movie? And then then I found out no, it's actually based on the dialogue from the the movie.
Correct.
And it's John Barry, so it's
so
it needs to be incorporated in the score. And I think, but the theme song is the theme. The theme tune is the. I'm giving them both 9 because I love them.
Do you know what? I've got 9 for both as well. There we go. Because I just think they're.
So we've got.
I think We Have All the Time in the World is a classic amongst Bond themes, and actually makes an appearance in a later movie.
Oh,
okay. So you get actually, if anything, it's a little overused in a later movie. But anyway, and then the theme tune for On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I just think is fantastic and very sort of. Again, something a bit different. It's used in a lot of the action sequences instead of either the Bond theme or the 007 theme that we heard previously. That's not in it.
Like a sub for the original. It could have been
for
the
actual
theme,
thing, the Bond thing. Yeah, no, I agree.
So good.
So I've got 9 as well. I think it's fantastic. Which takes us on to the score,
which we were talking about as well, but.
Yeah, no, you've already put the score in.
Oh, anyway. I thought you said you got...
No.
You've scored...
I've scored it 9, so that's fine. We're good.
No, that's why I did it. I thought you meant,
So you've got 9 for both the theme song and the score. Yeah, so have I. That's fine. This is John Barry's 5th score.
Yeah.
I think it's arguably his best.
Yeah.
I think it's certainly the best we've heard so far and arguably the best ever. A slightly, you're the musician, you tell me, a slightly more electronic sound, a slightly more sort of aggressive, Moog synthesizers and stuff. More sort of aggressive, would that be the right word?
A little bit, a little bit aggressive maybe. But then there's the hypnotist thing.
Right.
Which is another one of our 3-note wonders.
Ah, we've had a few of these.
But it does underpin with...
This is when he's hypnotising the girls.
Yeah.
You like chicken.
You didn't used to like chicken.
And now you love
chicken.
You love chicken.
Sorry, if I played that too much, everyone would get addicted to chicken, so I've got to be careful.
That's true. Yeah.
It's very mystical notes.
No, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a great score. And absolutely loved it. And I think it's pretty well seen as one of the stronger scorers across the fan base as well.
Yeah.
So hello Bond Twitter. I know a lot of you out there love that score. So 2 9s?
2 9s.
Excellent. So scoring highly so far. Now, stunts is the 4th category. We've talked about John Jordan's aerial shots. There's some great skiing in this, of course, some great skiing action. A lot of that was done by Willy Bogner, an Olympic skier. There are the great bobsleigh scenes, which they're sort of racing down the track, and again, that's John Jordan again, strapped into a bobsleigh, getting all that things. We've talked about Lazenby being very good in the fight scenes. I think there's a lot of good stunts in this. Although you're looking a little hesitant.
There's a few fights in the early on, and then in the second half of the movie you got the wire.
Yep.
All right, that was a cool bit. A lot of skiing and shooting.
Yep.
And I really like the bit where the bloke takes ages to fall off a cliff. So I just cut to that now, and he's going.
And he's still falling.
And he's going.
I like the way you see the shadow.
And there he goes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
can I just say, actually, I've got a note here that I've done. There is, I know they obviously can't get a person to do that, but it's very obviously a dummy because it's kind of falling like that, isn't it?
But I did enjoy that, and there's also a fight in like a cowbell storage shed, which I think is where, I probably found out somewhere that is where Pink Floyd actually got the idea for the opening of the track "Time" from Dark Side of the Moon.
Right. The other thing was, there's a load of guys jumping out of the helicopters.
Yeah.
But one guy goes out head first. Watch it. See if you can find it for a little cutaway. There's a guy like he's going swimming. He literally just goes straight into the water. His legs sort of like this. So I don't know if that was supposed to be in, but it wasn't. I also feel I need to say it's very, very helpful the way that all the people are color coded in the climactic fight. That's quite useful. He's in orange. I'm going to shoot him. So anyway, some good stunts. Maybe not some of the greatest in the movies. I think some of the action sequences are very good.
Yeah.
The bobsleigh and the skiing. I will just say, I think the escape from Pitts Gloria down the hill, which comes straight out of the novel, where he's skiing down.
Yes.
He's in quite bad shape at the end. I think that is top tier Bond. For about 10-15 minutes of that is absolutely top tier Bond.
Skiing's great. There's a bit of one-legged
skiing
action. While being shot at. The avalanche bit is great.
Yeah.
Looks like it was quite dangerous.
Yeah.
To actually do.
Would have been.
Yeah. No, I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
And they have a car chase that ends up on a racetrack. That's
I like
cool
that
as well.
Yeah, I like that section as well. And I think we'll talk about cars in a minute, but they're sort of massive, heavy American rear-wheel drive muscle cars, which obviously are completely unsuitable for snowy roads. So it must have been a nightmare to do. But anyway, I like a lot of the stunts here. But, I've gone 8 for stunts.
You've gone 8. Oh, I've gone a bit like... and the death by spiky artwork.
Oh, I was going to talk about that later.
Okay.
No, you're right. No, we'll do it now. Well, I was going to do it under henchman, but we'll do it now. It's fine.
That's right.
I think Grunther isn't the greatest henchman, but I do like his death on the spiky furniture.
Right, okay.
I think that's quite good. A useful lesson to everybody there, don't have spiky furniture in your home.
Yeah.
Because you might get, impaled on it.
But
so, I've gone 8 for stunts.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
What have you done?
I found the bobsleighing bit to just be a little bit underwhelming for the climax of a movie from what we've had previously, and the bit where he Blofeld nearly bloody blows himself up by dropping a grenade in his car, and it's all a bit a bit wacky races or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I tell you what I don't like is when Blofeld's hanging from the branch at the end by the neck.
Yeah.
What I know, I'm sorry, I know it's a Bond film. I shouldn't ask sort of serious questions like this, but why does he not just go back and shoot him? He knows where he is. Yeah. It's like 100 yards away. He's led there with a dog go and get the brandy. Just walk back, shoot him, and if you did, your wife would still be alive.
Because he was too pleased with himself.
I know.
Gag that he made that we'll come to in a bit. Yeah. I've only gone 7 for stunts.
Okay.
They're good, but I found the bobsleigh bit wasn't my favourite ending.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. So where did we get to? Because I've gone down to henchman. Vehicles.
Well, I've got not a lot to say other than lots of sporty motors, which I don't really know about because I'm not. But you all tell me.
Luckily, I'm here to take up the slack, old boy.
Yeah.
New Bond. New car.
Yeah.
Aston Martin DBS, which was the upgrade from the DB5.
So he hasn't got the DB5 because I made this myself. Oh, that's broke. I made this one out of Lego. Did it?
Nice.
Learn how to stick all the bricks together.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you need glue for that?
Well, I thought I did. No, but my brother didn't do it for me.
No.
I did. No. No, I didn't.
Oh, I believe you. I can tell your brother definitely didn't do that for me. I do like the Lego.
My brother did it for me because I didn't know how to stick. I thought you start with stick the wheels to the driver and go from there, and it didn't
No. You're missing the. Well, it
turns out there were instructions.
Apparently,
so yeah,
like you need them.
Yeah.
Well, I do like the new addition to the table, which is getting more and more. By the time we do like the 20th of these, we're going to be peeking over a wall. So yes, it's an Aston Martin DBS, which was the newer model upgraded from the DB5. And Tracy drives a red 1969 Mercury Cougar XR7 convertible. Right. Like I say, big American muscle car, would be hopeless in real life on those snowy roads. And by the way, Diana Rigg did a lot of that driving around the stock car race thing herself.
Good.
So yeah, definitely the ass-kicking Bond girl. Not much else to say in the way of vehicles.
Apart from the bloody bobsleds.
Well, yeah, the bobsleds. But, yeah.
Which I've already made my thoughts.
I suppose the helicopter. I'm not a sporting man, Fraulein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not a great vehicle.
Not amazing,
movie.
yeah.
No.
I've only gone 4.
Have you? Oh, I've gone 5.
See, I've got new pens.
Yeah, no, no expense spared on the actual pens this time.
Yeah.
Because they write and everything.
They stay on the thing and everything. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Henchman.
No, I've got villain next. Villain's on It's Your Board.
Yeah, I've done it the wrong way around, yeah? Yeah.
We can do henchman if you prefer.
No, I'll do villain.
Well, villain, right, okay, villain. Telly Savalas is Blofeld. I think he has a bit more... He's not as famous as Donald Pleasance's Blofeld.
Yeah.
But I think he has a bit more about him in some ways. A bit more sort of cosmopolitan. Maybe sort of know the right wine and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Does the physical stuff, the skiing and all that, which you probably couldn't do with
Holds
Donald
a cigarette like this.
I like the old hold the cigarette upright. And then
Sorry, no one smokes. Yeah, just smoking me.
I mean what I say. Bit of a crap way to kill him, as I've mentioned, or not. Well,
not kill him, but
not kill him, as it turns out.
See him off.
Perhaps nothing distinguishing about him. Distinguished, but not distinguishing.
Did he get? Yeah.
There's one.
Did he say, "I'm not wearing that bloody scarf thing"? I heard that wreaked havoc with Pleasance.
Well, no, I don't know. I couldn't find anything on this in the Bible of Bond.
They just said, "No, do you want to wear this?" No, okay.
Yeah. I did find out that Richard Maybaum, the writer, felt that he should have had an accent or something to distinguish him, set him apart a little bit, which apparently Savalas used.
I take it people care about this to some degree, and then they just, like me, have to go, I just forget about it, it's fine, don't think about it. Is that the first time I was, because of the recasting as well, I was thinking, but they've met each other, so in the last movie, so is it that they both had reconstructive face plastic surgery, and then they just go, no, we just pretend they haven't met
I don't know. I can't quite get to the bottom of it, because there was the thing about Blofeld cutting off his ear.
Yeah.
So whether there was
also a completely different man.
Well, yeah, whether different ethnicity,
and he would have recognised Bond if we're not.
But then he does that in the novels.
Yeah.
He does change his appearance very drastically in the novels.
But
so whether it was to do with that, I don't know. I think it's just one of those...
So in the novels, it would be you only live twice as after...
Is at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he goes to...
But if you watch the movies the other way around, it still wouldn't work, because each time they're meeting each other for the first time.
I think it's one of those things you just have to
go,
disbelief.
Forget it. I think, it doesn't matter.
I think Blofeld and Bond meeting for the first time ever in this novel, because although you see Blofeld in Thunderball, he and Bond don't meet, right, in the novel, right? So then in the second of the Blofeld trilogy novels, which is this one, they meet, and it's an important part of the plot. So I guess they felt it had to stay in for that reason. But yes, I agree. You are sat there thinking, hold on, they've seen each other before.
Yeah, but it's something I can live with it. That's why I think my enjoyment, having thought, oh right, I wasn't just an idiot and missed something.
No, not at all.
They haven't bothered to explain this.
I can confirm you are not an idiot.
Well, in this instance.
On this instance, exactly.
Okay.
So what we saying for villain? This is the main villain score.
I like his hypnotism. You love chicken. And I haven't put a bloody score, so I've got to make that now.
I'm going to get a lot of chicken.
I'm going to go... Hang on. Oh, because we've done vehicles.
Yeah.
What am I scoring? Stunts? No,
villains.
Sorry.
You right there? Do you want another
perspective?
Do you want another Pernod Ouzo marmalade and salt? You all right?
I'm going to say 7 for.
I have also
Telly.
said 7 for Telly Savalas,
Yeah.
who of course went on to be Kojak and enormously famous as Kojak. Henchmen. We finally reached Henchmen.
Right, okay.
So we talked a little bit about Gunther. Good fight scene with Tracy toward the end and the broken bottle and all that.
Yeah.
And he does the whole "he's dead, no he's not" thing, which is always good to see.
I mean, yeah.
Good death on the spiky furniture.
I mean, that's bringing the points up for girls as well because I liked
Ass
Tracy kicking ass there.
Shout out for Irma Bunt, of course, as well, who's a really sort of quite... There's something quite creepy about her.
Yeah.
You know, even when she's being nice to Hillary and all that stuff, you sense there's something underneath, don't you?
Don't talk about this in the clinic. Or about matters of the clinic. And I love the bit where she's pretending to be the girl Ruby in the bed. Yeah. And Bond comes in. Oh, hello, Ruby. Oh, anything good? Fancy meeting you here, Fraulein, he says.
Can I just say as well on the subject of henchmen, or sort of henchmen, shout out to the mad professor bloke who throws the thing of acid at Bond. I'm like, he's running in with a machine gun. Oh, I might as well.
That was just a good pun, wasn't it?
He might as well have a go.
Nearly ended the movie there.
So yeah, Henchmen, good, maybe not outstanding. 7.
You're going 7. I'm only going 6.
Okay.
So yeah.
Perhaps I'm being a little generous with my score there.
I don't know.
You know.
That's all right. Okay then, so we got...
Now we should be on location. Are you on the right page now?
Oh, I didn't fucking write.
Sorry, Tom's mum.
Now we should be on location, and I haven't written anything because I've literally forgotten to do that. So...
well, you have to do what I do. Make it up as you go along.
Well, anyway, do you want to just go to location?
Right, location. So we got some beautiful shots of Switzerland in particular.
It's all about Switzerland this time.
It's all about Switzerland.
And it looks bloody good.
Which I visited Switzerland for the first time last year, and it was amazing. Yeah. I'm desperate to go back. So yeah, cool. I like it a lot.
Did you go bobsledding?
I didn't. No, not with a hand grenade or without. The cinematography on this is fantastic. Michael Reed was a cinematographer. Some of those shots, as they're flying through the helicopters and all that, absolutely.
I love a good snowy movie.
Yeah, it does look absolutely beautiful. Bits Gloria, very iconic location, gorgeous, beautiful. So yeah, locations are great.
Home Alone.
Great.
Just naming snowy.
Don't say Flash Gordon.
No snow in Flash Gordon.
Oh, how silly of me. Yeah. Some nice scenery in Portugal as well. So they went to Setúbal near Lisbon, and those winding roads right on the edge of the Atlantic, all very beautiful as well, and again some nice aerial shots and that kind of thing. So yeah, I like the locations a lot. I've gone 8 for locations.
I'm going to match you
because you haven't written anything down.
And I'm just remembering all the snow. I do love a snowy movie.
Just not bobsleigh. If you're watching, snow but not bobsleigh. That's what Tom's asking.
Fargo's probably my favourite snowy movie, but
The Revenant.
I haven't seen that one. That one where he gets done in by a bat.
I just know it's in the snow.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's too long for me.
Yeah.
Story. We're back to being very close to the book. Having gone away from the book for the last one completely and doing entirely our own thing. We're back to being very close to the book. I mentioned the chase down the mountain, which is straight out of the book.
Right.
I really like that because I think, and you get a very strong sense of it in the book, but it partly comes across in the movie. When he's at the ice rink all huddled up, I think he's genuinely scared.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him in difficult positions before, but I think in this it does look pretty hopeless. And without Tracy turning up, I think he's probably toast.
Yeah.
And I think they've taken that straight from the story and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
At 2 hours and 10 minutes, this is the longest Bond film.
It's longer than that, isn't it? It's like 2 hours 22, I think, or something like that.
Oh, I got 2:10, but maybe it's certainly the longest Bond film, and it was the longest all the way up until Casino Royale in 2006. So again, maybe its length put some people off. I personally don't think it sags too much.
Well, there's a lot of ground to cover in that runtime.
There is. There's a lot.
Let me just go through. For the folks who don't really care about spoilers, but some folks have said we don't really actually tell people what happens in the films.
Oh yeah,
because we talk about everything else.
Tell people what happens in the film.
A brief sort of synopsis is that Bond meets this bloke Draco who asks him to marry his daughter Tracy. Bond says, I'm not going to marry her, but I'll keep having a way with her if you help me to track down Blofeld. It's a pretty good idea and pretty good deal. And
if you're Bond.
And Draco goes along with that. He has a bit of mucking about with them there. I wrote this down. So
talk about butterflies.
Lepidopterology.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll do that.
Butterflies.
Yes. He then gets. Well, he thinks he's been sacked, but he hasn't. While he's having a bit of a kind of drink and a reflection on his career, but he looks back at different weapons, including a bit of grotty watch nostalgia, which is very touching.
Why has he got Honey Rider's knife? Surely she needs that. What does he do? Sniff it? Why has he got that?
And the garment watch, wasn't that?
He left it on ground in the dead body. Anyway, we're thinking about this too literally.
Nostalgia. So anyway, he gets over to Switzerland, pretending to be this guy Hilary Bray, under the guise of genealogy and all this stuff. He meets loads of women who are having allergies cured, but really being tricked into unwittingly distributing bacteriological warfare agents thanks to Blofeld.
And it gives him a great chance to say, "Gold balls," which he clearly enjoys saying.
He does. So Bond tries to get Blofeld to leave Switzerland, which tips Blofeld off, even though they already met in the last movie. Then Bond escapes, reunites with Tracy, which you just talked about.
Yeah.
Proposes, avalanche, Tracy captured. Blofeld holds the world to ransom. M tells Bond that they're going to pay it and forget about it. And he goes, but Tracy. So
Tracy.
Bond
Does it sound like Alan Parsons when he says it?
Yeah. And then Bond gets
Good morning, Susan.
He gets Bond from Draco to rescue Tracy. Blows up Camp Blofeld. Is that what it's called?
Bits Gloria, but Camp Blofeld's good. They should call it Camp Blofeld.
They have a bobsleigh chase. Bond and Tracy marry. Big old spoiler. Tracy gets killed right at the end. 8.
Excellent.
I can't believe we're only giving it 8 after all that, but
8.
Yeah.
Like you turn to me and go, that's clearly an 8. That's all the elements for an 8. I like the way you started with Bond meets this bloke called Draco. That's how all movies should start from now on. Where are you going, 007? I'm
working on my screenplay.
I've got to meet that bloke Q.
I'm working on my screenplay. They said I'm 26, so there's still time.
No, indeed.
Okay.
There is one bit I should add. There is quite a big, in a admittedly complex and quite long and detailed plot. There is a bit which is not in the book, because what you've just described there in your own inimitable style is basically more or less the plot of the book.
Yeah.
There is the extra bit in Bern where he's breaking into the office of the lawyer.
Yeah.
And he uses the safety coder.
Gets out gadgets.
I know. I'm not going to talk about safety coder. But all I'm going to say is that bit is extra. It's not in the novel.
It's not a novel. It should have been in the bloody film.
Well, here's the thing. When they used to show it on ITV, they used to cut that bit entirely. Just cut that whole sequence out. Completely.
Did it?
So years later, when I actually watched it on my own money, VHS or whatever, I thought, there's this whole extra bit of the movie that I didn't know anything about. Right. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
I quite like it. I think it's quite sort of Hitchcockian, the way you're sort of watching the clock and thinking, is he going to get out in time? I appreciate there's no major explosions and people running off rooftops and kicking people and stuff, but I quite like it. Anyway, so yes, good story, very close to the book. I think it works really, really well. I don't think its length is a particular problem. I don't think it sags too badly.
Well, you said we have just talked about a bit that's easily cut out and no one cares. True. And there's another bit as well. It's like, he kind of, just leisurely. I can't remember what it is now, so maybe I'll cut that out. But yeah, there's a few instances where I think they could have picked up the pace a little. Did you have to see all that curling? I don't know. There
is quite a lot of curling. Yeah, and him falling over to sort of show I'm not a sporting man.
But still not like, oh, God, this is dragging,
No, not badly. Yeah. Not badly. So what have you... You've gone 8. I've gone 8 as well for the story. So I think this is really the last one that's heavily based on Fleming.
Yeah.
And I quite like the ones that are based on Fleming. As we saw from last time, where You Only Live Twice went its own way, and I thought the story sort of suffered a bit. So, Gadgets is next.
Gags and girls.
Gadgets, gags and girls. We've reached that time already. It's time for one of Tom's little musical inserts.
Let's do it.
Gadgets, gags, and girls.
Oh, you've added to that. There's some new sound effects on that.
Changing each
Nice,
time.
nice. Yeah, no, because it'd be a shame to underplay it, wouldn't it? Gadgets. Right, this is a very gadget-free movie, as we mentioned.
Yes.
And really, the only gadget, there's a couple of little gadgets in the car, the little telescope and bits and bobs. I think there's a sort of little microphone thing. But it's really the portable safety coder in the office in Bern. Now,
Yes.
do you remember in You Only Live Twice, he broke into Osato's office and he produces from his pocket a safety coder that's about that big. And he pops it on the safe, and he's out. 2 years later, he has to break into the office, get his mate outside with a crane.
He's a cross between Chris Martin and Les Dennis.
He looks a bit like former England left-hander David Gower to me, but there we are. He has to lift the crane
All three of those people somehow he looks like. Yeah.
up into the office because the safety coder is now the size of two wardrobes glued together and about the same weight, But Bond then has to drag to the safe and wait for an hour while he sits there with his feet up.
He has a bit of time to read
Playboy, an art pamphlet.
Thank you.
A 1973 copy of Parade. Art pamphlet. So, yeah, I mean, it's a gadget, but we've sort of gone backwards, haven't we, in the world of gadgets? Have I missed something there?
Absolutely.
So, have I missed a gadget? You're the
No,
you're
that's,
the gadget
I haven't
man,
got anything.
normally.
I'm like, I don't even know what to do it other than go 2.
Oh, I put 4.
4.
I mean, let me just say, I'm not big on... I don't need too many gadgets in my movies.
See, I do. Well, no.
But even this is a bit light.
But these are just, it's the fact that there's not any, which I guess they, they deliberately thought we'll do a more grounded thing. And the one they do, like you say, it's like, just get your old pocket one out, you idiot.
Yeah.
So
we've suffered a bit there
Failure.
on gadgets. Now, gags. Right, gags. All right, I'll tell you some gags. Right, a few one-liners. He had a lot of guts.
that's my favourite one. I can't
you
believe
like
you
that
went
one?
straight. That's like
Go
that's
ahead.
like an Arnie one, isn't it? He
had a lot of guts.
No, actually, because I wrote it down. He had lots of guts.
Lots of guts.
He had lots of guts. It's even the delivery of it and everything is just, it's like a young Schwarzenegger who's going, if only one day I could
Maybe I
deliver
could say a line
lines.
that bad.
Yeah.
He's branched off.
Yeah.
I think my favourite gag in this movie is, and I know it's awful, but I do like it, just a slight stiffness coming on, which I think is just a brilliant line.
In the shoulder. And then the night after, he's like, your stiffness from last night, this is all gone. He's like, well, yeah, for the moment. And then hooks up another bloody 3 dates or something. Say dates, they're like hour...
Yeah.
Sessions,
Trysts,
aren't they?
rendezvous.
Trysts is the word, yeah.
There are also a few in-jokes here as well to make audiences remember it's the same character.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about the death scene that refers to previous movies. So he's got the knife from Honey Rider and so on and so on. There's a cleaner whistling the theme tune to Goldfinger.
I thought it was Moon River the first time.
There's also
bit out of tune.
Moneypenny who says, same old James, only more so.
Yeah.
Which I think is a sort of, again, references the same character, but we're kind of up in the sex and the ante and all that.
Yeah.
That, I think, is... Have I missed any gags?
I got a bit more. Well, not a gag, but the kilt bit where he takes it off. Very sexiful, I would say, at that point. And also, it's a bit rubbish one, but when he's proposed to Tracy and they've said about they're not going to do each other until after they get married, but as a New Year's resolution, and then he knocks her bed, breaks her bed basically. So she rolls over to him.
This will definitely be attractive to her.
It's not New Year's yet. And she's like, well, what was the point in saying all this stuff before? And I broke my bed. But but luckily she doesn't say that and they get it on.
Get it on.
So it's fine. he's branched off. I like I hope this continues. That bonus points for just saying that to no one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As he's hurting
He's
down
branched
the
off. I
bobsleigh.
must remember to tell people I said that later on. And kind of a gag, well, just a humorous moment. I did really enjoy it, seeing a bit more Q. I loved the wedding. Q and Moneypenny and Em at the wedding. That's the bit, the first time I really wanted that to be Connery with Moneypenny crying and him throwing the hat. But Q goes up to him and he goes, 007, I used to think you're a bit of a prick. But now you've married a stunner, so I suppose I'm the prick. Oh, well, if you ever need anything. And then he goes, thanks, Q, but I've got all the gadgets now.
Thanks, Q, but you are a prick.
I may have been paraphrasing Q a little bit there.
No, I think
but that's basically the joke of it.
In British civil service speak, I think that's pretty much what he's saying, yes. We've had our differences. Okay, gags. I sorry, go on. I thought you finished.
I nearly finished. And also Q, when he chucks the hat, he goes, 007 never had respect for government property, gets another little dig in at his wedding. It's like, no, I told him he's all right, but he's just pissed me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good on you, Q.
That's who Q is. You've got to
like you.
You've got to do things by the book, haven't you?
Yeah.
I've gone 7 for gags. I think Connery's delivery would have been better.
Yeah. Possibly. I thought I had quite a list there, so I've gone 8.
Okay.
A few good chuckles there.
What you do in the privacy of your own home is entirely up to you. Right, one more sequence, which is girls. Diana Rigg is perhaps the best actress to be in a Bond film. Dame Diana Rigg, knighted for her.
I'm glad you said, because she is just magnificent, isn't she?
Well, of course, it was Judi Dench later on, but as a Bond girl, she's probably the sort of best actress. So has a special place amongst the Bond girls. And also kicks ass, as you say.
Emotional bits.
But of course, you have that tremendous ending, so that sets her apart as well. And there are callbacks to this later on and so on as well. So that I think is fantastic, really, really good. And actually, we moaned about how the Japanese girls in You Only Live Twice weren't very well developed. This I think is quite a well developed part.
Yeah.
We've got the 12 Angels of Death.
Yeah.
Which sort of doesn't quite work. I mean, it sort of works, but.
I mean, it keeps it more. Yeah, it makes it more of a kind of Bond thing than. Tonally from the rest of the movie, it's a bit weird.
There needs to be a bit,
But it just about...
Because he's hopelessly in love with Tracy, but he's working his way through the 12 angels as well. So you're sort of thinking...
That's all right, doesn't he? Yeah. Yes, it's daft as hell, but you need a bit of that in a James Bond film.
Can I just recognise as well, when he's in the office in Bern, he sits there and reads as you say, art pamphlet. And then he takes a page out of said art pamphlet and walks out with it under his arm.
I know. I thought he had the whole thing with him because he had like the long bit, the centrefold. I
think he just took. I
thought he had the old pamphlet.
I mean, either way, he's in this immaculately cut suit as the English gentleman with a jazz mag under his art pamphlet under his arm. It's not exactly
Rhythm magazine.
Eddie. Okay, what are we saying for girls?
Oh God,
I've gone 8 purely for Diana Rigg.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give 9. I love Diana Rigg in this. So yeah, you're saying 8. I'm saying 9. So we have done all the scores.
Right. You've got the time it takes the board to revolve.
Yeah.
While I count
roulette wheel goes round.
While I count up the scores, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back. While you were away, I have been doing maths. Right. I've inputted your data.
Ooh.
And Tom has scored 82 out of 120 as a first-time watcher. I have scored 88 out of 120 as a millionth time watcher, which gives, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, a grand total of 170. 170.
170.
And that puts it in 4th.
Yeah.
So it's ahead of You Only Live Twice and Dr. No.
Yeah.
But it's behind From Russia with Love, Thunderball, and Goldfinger, which still leads the way on 191.
Oh,
There we are. There may be a caption appearing on the screen to that effect now.
I'll be putting all the scores up. Yeah, that's better now.
Because that's just
since we've been doing that, it's better, isn't it? That's how the show's evolving, you see.
Yeah, but no, Queenie was quite right. We're evolving because
Yeah.
we think about it so
Graphics.
much, don't we? You know, we're constantly looking for ways to update and change. We don't rest unless we know it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we do this over and over again. That's why there's a month between episodes, because we spend the whole month building up to the next episode, just honing it, getting it right, you know, so there's nothing out of place.
Yes.
Look, there we are, 170, 4th out of 7 for On Her Majesty's Secret Service of the 7 we've reviewed so far. Next time, a return... Go on. No, I want to hear it now.
Diamonds are forever.
A return to comedy, a return to Connery. See what I did there? Very good. And we will be discussing that movie on the next episode. Please don't forget, follow us on Twitter at ReviewKillShow. And if you'd like to send us a message, send us a message there underneath there. Or you can do it on that there Twitter/X.
Please keeps us going.
It does, and because we need it costs millions to keep this show on the road every month. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is
Luxury Tedium.
Luxury Tedium. Just pop that into YouTube and up will pop all of our lovely shows. Right, thank you very much for watching. Yeah. And we will see you next time when we will do Diamonds Are Forever.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Love you. Bye.
The name's Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Very, yeah.